And here we are. Welcome back to the Redshirt Sophomore podcast, where we never sit out. We are your hosts, Matthew and Christopher Dawson. What is going on? It's week 4. We just came off of week 3. That was everyone said, "Oh, we're sleeping on this week. Come back week 4 to watch week 4." It was a fantastic week of college football. If you want to check out our recap videos, we have a couple of those posted. So definitely check those out. Check us out on Twitter as well, and email us at theredshirtsophomore@gmail.com. But oh boy, this is a slate. This is a slate. I'm so pumped to talk about it. We're going to cover 9 games today. We're going to, CD and I are going to, if you don't know how this works and you're first time listeners, we're going to preview the game, right? We're going to pick a winner, pick a spread, and we keep track of this as the season goes on. And maybe we have some best bets for you guys at the end. Maybe we got some smelly money on the table there. So I'm pumped. Well, what's going on, dude?
This is fantastic. And it this week, the whole weekend obviously starts Thursday. We got the Sun Belt playing on Thursday night. Cannot wait until we are that much closer to the MAC and other conferences, Conference USA. And during the week, we love that. It's college football all week long, except Sundays. The NFL can have Sundays. Who cares?
No one cares.
But this week is, like you said, is incredible. I'm going to be glued to my TV. How about starting Friday night? Wisconsin and Purdue. I mean, the Big Ten playing on Friday night, it's kind of awesome. And then even like Air Force, San Jose State is interesting. And the nightcap too.
That's
Friday,
a
but
super
games.
That is that Mountain West Championship implications. 100%.
Yeah, and San Jose State's 1-3, fine. But they've played some good teams. Air Force
Very
is obviously everyone's high on the Mountain West. But we have some big time games to talk about this week. A bunch of ranked matchups, other ones that are unranked. Like Florida State's playing Clemson, and if I'm not wrong, Clemson's not even ranked, right? That's kind of crazy. Who saw that coming into this year? But that line's still pretty close. But yeah, we'll get in all these games. We love it, man. We love it.
All right. Well, let's just hop right into it. First game we're going to be talking about. Colorado, the Buffs, after an absolute classic of a game last week, are going to be traveling to Oregon. And they'll be squaring off with a team that has yet to be challenged. Colorado has had nothing but challenges. Oh, okay. Well, what were you going to say?
I'll say Texas Tech. Gave Oregon a little bit of run for their money.
What am I saying?
For sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, but now, hey, that was in Lubbock. They get this one at home. That's the difference in the story right there. They get this one at home. Colorado, no Travis Hunter. However dirty you think that hit was, well, it doesn't really matter a whole ton right now because regardless, Travis Hunter's out. So that's a big deal. Both sides of the ball. Like, we don't get to talk, injury. Oh, that's going to affect the offense. This affects both. It affects both sides of the ball. However, Shedeur is playing. I mean, both these quarterbacks are playing at a Heisman level right now, but Shedeur Sanders would probably be my vote for Heisman if you were to poll me today based on like the competition, how he's risen up to the occasion, right? He's putting up the stats, putting up the numbers, rallying the team behind realistically, a bad offensive line. We can say it how it is. It's a bad offensive line. And Oregon's offensive line, well, I came into the season with a lot of question marks. They were replacing a lot of guys, and they have looked nothing short of spectacular so far.
Now, I say this about Colorado's offensive line. I think it hurts them. I think they're bad. Obviously, they're not good. I'm not trying to make excuses for them. But in terms of why they also give up so much pressure to Shedeur Sanders, is they don't run the ball. And they can't because the line is bad. They don't run the ball. But also, like, if you're Oregon, if you're Colorado State, TCU, and Nebraska, you know what's coming. Like, 70% of the time, they're going to be dropping back to throw the ball. And so while, yes, they do get stuff out pretty quickly in the screen game, RPOs, one-read stuff, you still have to sit there and go through your progressions if you're Shedeur Sanders. So you take away his first and second reads, boom, he's got to hold the ball. And he's not a guy that likes to run. He likes to extend plays. And that's where he can get to him. And he's taken a lot of big hits this year. I hope he avoids them this week, obviously, for his sake and for Colorado's sake. But yeah, I think how much hype would this game have? It still has a ton. Obviously, it's Deion Sanders' first conference game. It's a huge event. They're playing a top 10 team, or top 11 team, depending on where you look. I guess Oregon. But if they had Travis Hunter, right, and if they pulled away from Colorado State in that first half, like how different does this game look? Like how different is the spread? If Colorado looked apart last week against Colorado State, and then like the national attention would be even more crazy than it already is on an already loaded slate this week.
Yeah, I mean, look, with all that being said, uh, give me Oregon to win and Oregon to cover. I'm sorry, Colorado. I think Colorado's a pretty good football team. I think Oregon is a potential playoff team, and they've upgraded on the defensive side of the football. Granted, Texas Tech is a good offense. Okay, they are. Tyler Shuck over there slinging rocks. That was on the road as well. Plus, against your former Tim DeRuyter. I mean, come on, you knew Tim DeRuyter was going to be dialed in for that game. Um, so of course, Texas Tech putting themselves in good field position. They got the job done offensively. So, look, I just think Oregon is a much better football team. I think they are a 3-touchdown better football team. I think they're going to be at home in a absolutely, it's going to be a rowdy environment. It's going to be rowdy. Now, Colorado's been there, right? They went to forward, right? That was a pretty rowdy game. Okay. But I don't think TCU is that team. I think Oregon is that team, and I think they're going to give them huge problems. I think Bo Nix might have an absolute career day, and he's not going to be holding back. I don't think any of these coaches in the Pac-12 are going to be holding back anything from Colorado. If this is a 14-point game headed into the fourth quarter, maybe a couple minutes to go, I don't see a lot of teams, holding back, taking the foot off the gas, running out the clock. I think this could be a shootout, though. This could be a shootout, but I trust Oregon's defense a little bit more this year. Dan Lanning's done a good job, better job, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oregon's the better team. I think they might even be 3 touchdowns better. On paper, the problem is yes, Travis Hunter's gone. You still have weapons. You still have Jimmy Horn, obviously, Xavier Wheeler, Dawson, right? And then you also have the tight end, Harrison, who's pretty darn good too. Obviously, Edwards out of the backfield. Sanders makes plays. Finds good people. So I don't think offensively they're gonna miss him that much. Obviously, he makes a play or two every game on offense that you're like, wow, right? It's 3rd and long, and he makes a crazy play or draws pass interference. They're gonna miss him defensively. It would have been awesome to watch him go shadow Troy Franklin right all game, because I think I think Troy Franklin's a really elite player. I think he's really, really good wide receiver. You're gonna see that come to fruition. I think they're gonna take advantage of Colorado secondary. The reason why I take Oregon to win but Colorado to cover is I still think Colorado's going to put up a ton of points. I don't quite trust this defense yet. I thought Texas Tech exposed some things on them. I think Colorado will be able to do that and then some. The line, the over-under is 70. It's like 70 and a half, depending where you look. That is crazy high, right? For a college football game. I still think it can be up there, and I don't quite see an Oregon scoring like 55, 60 points and then still covering. I think and then also they could try to run the ball, establish a run with Bucky Irving and their other running backs there, really shorten the game and not quite let them be able to separate, but also, still win pretty comfortably in the fourth quarter. If you got to look out for Komani McLean. I mean, we've been looking for him for Colorado. Like, now's his time to step up. Obviously, he came in the summer, was not ready. He was a smaller stature guy. And they have some solid corners on the team. Above him, obviously, Travis Hunter. But with him gone, I would love to see McLean just show up and just dominate. I think that would be so cool. Obviously, the brand, the DBU brand that Sanders is trying to build there would be awesome. But the thing is Colorado's gonna have to play 60 minutes of really good football on the road, and I don't think they have it in them for 4 straight weeks. And with losing some depth pieces, they're gonna be very tired. I mean, they've been in great. Even the Nebraska game was close for a while, and that was still a physical game. That depth. The reason why I didn't take their over in the offseason for the season was because I was worried about that depth. And obviously they can play 60 minutes, one game of really good football, but over the course of a season, like it's gonna get to them more than it's gonna get to a team like Oregon, a team like Utah, USC, in other player teams in their conference. But yeah, I'd like to look at how does Colorado D line fare. I know you mentioned the offensive line earlier with Oregon, real quick. I would love to see them get some pressure on Bo Nix. I think that's their only key to stopping this offense.
It's not gonna happen.
And you don't think it's gonna happen?
I don't think it's gonna happen. It could. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, look. Let me touch a little bit on Cormani McClain. Deion Sanders has consistently said this week he's been asked about it a lot because I think people are waiting for this. And I don't know that Deion thinks Cormani's ready. I don't think he's. I don't really think he's. I don't think he thinks that he's ready, which is a bummer because that is a. He was an elite recruit, and you would expect a guy like that to start day one, right, at a school like Colorado. But we'll see if he gets some playing time. I don't know. I don't know. This quote was, "Well, what's holding back Cormani McClain?" And Deion said himself. So, take that with what you will. Couple weeks ago, this was the game to look out for, and it is Florida State at Clemson. The line is 2.5. They are daring us to take Florida State on the road. Uh, gosh, man,
Before you
what are
get
your
into this real
thoughts here?
quick, yeah, before you get in, I'll let you start with it, but I want to take everyone back and let's transfer back. It's week one. It's Labor Day weekend. It is Sunday night, right? FSU has just really pulled away from LSU. They won by whatever, like 3-4 touchdowns they did, and everyone's just immediately circled this game in week 4. Holy crap! This is going to be such an environment in Death Valley that they haven't seen there in a conference game in so long. And obviously, it's still going to be rowdy. It's still going to be ready to go. But then 24 hours later, after that Sunday night, you're a Clemson fan and you had just gotten, kind of not boat raced, but just like utterly demoralized by Duke. And now you're sitting there unranked and you're welcome in the top 10 team in FSU. Oh, man. I don't know. You tell me.
Um, I, it's hard. Clemson. Here's the thing about that Duke game, right? Like Clemson offensively, they outgained Duke significantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they found themselves moving the football pretty well. They're moving the ball fine, right?
They had
They
in the
just
red zone. They were like terrible, or on the other side of the
yeah
50, they were horrible.
yeah they just could not finish. And Mike Elko and the boys at Duke they just came through. Now, do I think Cade Klubnik is a fantastic quarterback? No, he's nowhere even near close to the best quarterback in that class. Um,
Connor Wigman, shout out. I see. I see what you did there.
I didn't have to say it. I'm assuming that some of these fans hopefully know what they're talking about if you guys are watching this. But I think Jordan Travis, the fact that he's a veteran, right, is going to help them on the road here. Like this is a nightmare of a place to play. There are only a couple places to go on the road and beat Clemson. I mean, last year Spencer Rattler did it. Nathan Peterman's done it, right? So it's not like you have to have like an elite quarterback. Your quarterback just needs to play fantastic. That's what needs to happen. And can Jordan Travis do it? I think so. Andrew Makuba's questionable. We'll see. I mean, he dislocated his elbow a couple weeks ago, so I don't know. I don't know what if he's going to be back. If he's doubtful, if he's out, then that's another defensive back that you're down. And Keon Coleman is a first rounder. I'm sorry, he's a top 15 pick at this point in the season. From what we've seen from him, he's a top 15 pick. So can Clemson slow him down? I don't know. I don't know if they can. Their defensive line was fine against Duke, but like they're not that same Clemson defensive line. And the theory there, I saw someone mentioned this, and I thought that was a really good point. It's like Clemson and Alabama do not have the dominant defensive linemen that they normally do because Texas A&M has all of them, and yet A&M's not done anything with them. But we're not talking about A&M right now. But I'm just saying, like, this is not the same Clemson defensive line that we've seen. I know that Florida State's on the road. I'm just gonna take the better team here. I'm gonna take Florida State, right? And I'm gonna take them to cover as well, the 2.5.
Yeah, this game is definitely something that's tempting for me to bet. I'm like, oh my, on the surface, you're like top five team, unranked team, 2.5 points. That's way too low. But you also have to consider how talented Clemson is. They're still really talented. Okay. And they're in wounded animal mode, right? Their backs against the wall, right? Their season's on the line right now. Their program trajectory is being in question. Nobody's giving them a chance to win this game. Obviously, odd makers are, but like in terms of just to talk of Clemson in general, it's mostly negative at this point in the season. Nate Wiggins, got to play well. Obviously, got elite wide receivers and weapons on Florida State. Will Shipley, can they actually get him involved and like really like they should have used him? Like I hate to say that, like they should really just run him into the ground this game, out of the backfield catching and obviously handing the ball off to him. I People kind of forget Garrett Riley's still there at Clemson. I mean, he can do some things with this offense. I'm still gonna take Florida State and the points. I think this line's too low. I think Florida State's actually really good. That Boston College win last week, I guess close win last week, doesn't quite scare me. Definitely alarmed me a little bit, but I still think that was a nice wake up call for them. I think that was absolutely a look ahead game. Remember, these are 18 to 22-year-old kids. Okay,
Yes,
every
yes.
every week you're gonna get a brand new team, right? Josh Pate says all the time, it's like you get 12 weeks of a team. They're different teams every week, and so it's not going to be the same. Obviously, you're going to have ups and downs, but 18 to 22-year-old kids, a lot of them get up for these big games. Florida State still knows how good Clemson is. The ACC, nobody takes Clemson lightly. No matter how good they've looked this year so far. Oh man, I really want to see Clemson, that D line. That there's still talent there. There's some 5 stars on there. There's old defensive lineman. Xavier Thomas, is he healthy? Has he done anything this year? I mean, they still have a talented defense. Still have a talented
Yeah,
defense,
well,
and
they're yeah. I mean, it's nothing elite. It's nothing elite. And like you said, I think this line is at what it is because of the Boston College game last week. I think that's it. I think that's it. So if
so
that game
why?
does not
So why?
happen, Florida State is a 4.5 point favorite.
Yeah. So why aren't we
So
taking? Why are we scared to put money on Florida State? You know why we
it's on the
like?
road. It's on the road.
Yeah,
It's on the road.
yeah.
So that's it. Now that's not
I
going
want
to
to.
stop me from taking some other teams on the road.
I,
Future preview for my sprinkles.
I want to ask you a question here though. Who's got the better coaching staff? Not who's got the better coaching staff? I mean, obviously, Lincoln Riley is a better. I'm sorry, not Lincoln Riley. Wow,
Garrett.
not Garrett Riley. I meant to say Dabo Sweeney. I was a Chris jump there. He's obviously a better and has had a more successful career than Mike Norvell. But in terms of like a coaching staff that you feel good enough to prepare themselves for this game, I kind of lean Florida State. And I didn't think I was going to be saying that with the addition of Garrett Riley, but I just still have to. Clemson has to earn my trust where Florida State has. The adjustment that they made against LSU was really impressive, right? In that second half. And I don't know if Clemson can do that. And Florida State, will have a good game plan and have a good plan out of halftime as well, especially if it's a close game.
Look, why was Boston College in the game last week? Explosive plays. Do we know that Clemson is capable of explosive plays? Besides maybe Antonio Williams? Maybe. Put a maybe on that one.
No,
No, Will Shipley does not have a touchdown this year, I don't think. Or he hadn't
which
until
is
maybe like late last game. But like,
it's killing my fantasy team too. Killing my
yeah.
fantasy team.
So, I mean, yeah. And when I checked in on that game, it was like the third quarter or something. I'm like, you still hadn't scored a touchdown. So I don't know. You might have scored in the fourth quarter. I didn't watch. If you think of watch the fourth quarter of that game, you're out of your mind, But uh, yeah. Look, give me Florida State in the points. Is that what you took as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna take them too. But I think this game it's at 11 o'clock. By the way, do not sleep through your alarms this week again. We got a couple 11 a.m. games that we're gonna be talking about. This is, this is one of them for sure.
Oklahoma traveling to Nippert Stadium. You're like, why are we covering this game? Well, Cincinnati just lost to Miami, Ohio. Well, actually, this was a game that we were thinking about covering anyways. But also, there's an email that was sent to us. Again, if you want to email us and ask us to preview certain teams, we can totally do that. Jack sent us a little email and he said, hey, it would be really cool to see a little pregame conversation about the Cincy Oklahoma game week 4. He also added, or maybe the Cincy UCF game week 9. So we'll see about that. Obviously, a really tough loss for Cincinnati. But we talked about this. Is the MAC just a wagon of a conference this year? It is awesome to see that the MAC might be back. Is the MAC back? We're gonna MAC back. MAC back. MAC back. All right, this is not a MAC section. Oklahoma Cincy. Oklahoma is playing some of the best football in the entire country. Actually, correction. I'll say that Oklahoma's playing the best football in college football right now. Now, granted, they haven't played a whole lot of teams that maybe they're not like the best teams, but they're scoring at will. Their defense looks better. Their weapons, it looks like they took a step forward. Even losing Marvin Mims, it looks like they're doing really well there. Dylan Gabriel's awesome. And Jackson Arnold, from what we've even seen in like garbage time, he looks incredible as well. So Oklahoma, even if Dylan Gabriel goes down like he did last year, and it was just a huge problem, now I don't think Oklahoma fans are going to be panicking if that happens. On Cincinnati's side, Emory Jones has looked pretty good, actually. Pretty good. I think Scott Satterfield's done well with a lot of mobile quarterbacks in those systems. Malik Cunningham, of course, comes to mind. This line's at 14.5. For how good Oklahoma's playing and Cincinnati coming off of a loss against Miami, Ohio, it would feel like this game line would be a lot bigger than it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't make odds, but what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, first of all, it's the Cincinnati's welcome to the Big 12, obviously, and who better to welcome them than honestly the class of the Big 12, for the last 15 years in Oklahoma. I'll say home game, Cincinnati, at Nippert Stadium. They're going to be really up for this game. And also, they lost last week. It was in overtime. Crazy things happen in overtime. Obviously, should not have gotten to overtime to begin with. But there's a reason this game is not 3-touchdown favorite game. It's 14.5, right? So, obviously, if you're Emory Jones, control the football. SMU turn the ball over twice. That cannot happen if you're Cincinnati and you want to win this game. Got to get Corey Kiner established on the run game. Him and Emory Jones are a nice duo, especially in the red zone there sometimes. But it's going to be hard to see a path for Cincinnati to stay in this game. They're going to need big plays, obviously, Xavier Henderson, and they're going to need to call some big plays and get that Oklahoma offense, which has been humming, all year, and kind of get them out of rhythm. And I think they can do that on the road. Maybe they got a chance to do it for sure. But Oklahoma, this is a different Oklahoma team than last year, right? Oklahoma team last year could get got, right? Their defense was not elite by any, it was bad, right? And the caliber of athlete Oklahoma has this year versus last year, dramatic upgrade, dramatic improvement. I gotta take Oklahoma in the points. I don't want to overthink this. But this would not surprise me in the fourth quarter if this is, a closer game for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I struggle with this game a lot because I think Cincinnati at home is really dangerous. I think they are.
Yeah.
I think they have a really good defensive line. I think they have a good run game. I think Scott Satterfield, he might lose the games that he shouldn't, but there's times in his career where he stepped up and he's won the big ones. Also, too, let's not forget Cincinnati's interior pass rush is there. It's there.
Yeah.
When you have a small quarterback like Dylan Gabriel standing at 5'11", right? That's actually not an easy pocket to be in, right? Like, but I do trust Oklahoma's coaching staff, right? Jeff Levy. I trust him to find ways to get Dylan Gabriel out of the pocket or create a pocket that is livable for Dylan Gabriel to get it out to his weapons. I think if Emory Jones can just take care of the football, if he can just take care of the football, I think Cincinnati can cover at home. I'm going to take Oklahoma to win. Give me Cincinnati plus 14.5. praying that Emory Jones hold on to the football. Can you do that for me, Emory Jones? Just hold on to the football. All right.
He had 2
Get some
picks against Miami, Ohio. 2 picks.
And that does it right there. That's exactly what does it. So, and I do think Oklahoma's defense is a little bit better than maybe Miami of Ohio's defense. It's not a slight at Miami of Ohio. If you thought I was slamming the MAC, can't believe you thought I was slamming the MAC like that. It's crazy. But yeah, give me Cincinnati. Give me the point. Well, give me Oklahoma to win. Give me the points in Cincinnati. Is that crazy? Does that sound crazy? It's at 14 and a half. Give me the hook. Give me the hook.
And I'll give you even some more reason why, that Cincinnati pick is not a terrible pick. The defense has played well for the most of the year. I mean, Miami Ohio, yeah, they put up 24 points in regulation, whatever. They played well against Pitt, but obviously who hasn't defensively against Pitt? But they stopped the run pretty darn well. And if you make, like you said, if you make obvious passing situations, you get interior pressure, that is a recipe for turnovers, big plays, strip sacks, what you name it. For a team like Cincinnati to get and jump on Oklahoma and really get that home crowd into it. I think this would be awesome for the Big 12, the future of the Big 12. Could you imagine it's old versus new, or the guys leaving versus the guys coming in, and the new guys get a win for Cincinnati in the future of the Big 12? That would be awesome. Again, another 11 a.m. game. I cannot stress it enough. Get up and get going on 11 a.m. on Saturday. Be sitting down at the TV with your pregame snacks, with your gourmet brunch if you want, or your appetizers at 10:55 if you're Central Time. Obviously, noon local time here.
This line a couple weeks ago was not at 7. It was not at 7. This is Bama at home laying a touchdown the same way that they did,
man.
The same way that they did against Texas.
Oh,
Ole Miss at Alabama. Go.
I want so hard to take Ole Miss, and the point I might take Ole Miss straight up. Let me think about it. I want to hear your thoughts. I'm trying to talk myself down from doing it, because if you guys remember, my national championship pick, my SEC championship pick was Alabama. For all the things we talked about, offensive line, running game, elite defense, quarterback that you were hoping to have dynamic plays, improving the passing game out throughout the year. And they were going to have a chance to do that. Hopefully they were going to get by Texas, and then they were going to be able to work in Milroe until the LSU game and the Tennessee game. But obviously, no, he's got to be ready right now, because this is a very losable game for them. Oh man, dude, I'm gonna wait. Give me a second. I want to let you talk about this game a little bit, and then I'll give you my pick.
Well, I'll say there's a reasonable chance, actually a more than reasonable chance, that Trey Harris is not playing. Sakari Franklin's not playing.
Yep.
And who knows on the status of Quinshon Judkins, like if he's going to be ready to go Saturday either. So it's like,
and the line's still 7, by the way.
And the line's still 7, and they're going to Tuscaloosa. Like, I don't know. Like, if Ole Miss doesn't have their weapons, right? Like, are they going to be able to forget Alabama's offense and their offensive woes right now, right? Bama's defense we know is still good. Okay. If you look at, let's talk about facts. Okay. Offensive success rate. Okay. Texas hit explosive plays against Alabama, and they executed those, and that's how they won that football game. Also, some key turnovers as well. Texas has the worst offensive success rate in the entire country. And part of that is due to when they played Alabama. So that, I know that's ridiculous to believe, like that's so hard to believe, but that is what it is. It was explosive plays, right? South Florida game on the road. Obviously, Jalen Monroe's back. Whether he was suspended or not, I don't know. I don't like to speculate about that. But clearly Tyler Buckner and Ty Simpson, Ty and Ty, are not the guys. Uh, I might do something stupid here. I'm going to take Bama, and I'm going to take their points as well. If you're going to give me Bama at home against Ole Miss for a touchdown, okay, despite their offensive woes, I know that their sack rate is one of the highest in Power 5, one of the highest in the country. I know that. I know that. Okay, can Ole Miss take advantage of that? I'm looking at a lot of injuries on offense, and even if they get the ball in great field position, can they capitalize? This Bama defense is still good. Like, this Bama's defense is still good. People are forgetting about that. This is just way too good of a team to be playing Ole Miss at home and only be laying a touchdown. Give me Bama and the points.
I see exactly what you're saying, and I do believe in that defense. But like you said, the weak spot, it's not down to down, it's explosive plays, right? And who better to do that? C. Sarkisian is 1A, 1B is Lane Kiffin to draw up explosive plays to beat and to attack the vulnerabilities of this Bama defense. And Jackson Dart also, he throws the deep ball pretty darn well, actually, this year. He had some explosive plays, in downfield passing. Obviously, like you said, Trey Harris, Zachariah Franklin, Quinshon Junkins, huge pieces of those offense, especially explosive plays. Because if you have Quinshon Junkins, it's crazy to sound like, but as a running back, he still requires so much attention. And every defender in the back of their mind is thinking about him every play is on the field. And that, that lets you, slip up, miss an assignment, be a half a second late, and then Lane Kiffin and company could take advantage of you. Like you said, the key to this game, I think, and we talked about part of that sack pressure, right, is just negative game scripts for Bama against Texas and even USF, right? If Bama like runs the ball early and jumps on Ole Miss at home, they're gonna be fine. Milroe is a very solid quarterback in the Power 5 if he has everything working around him, like an offensive line, like a running game, and he did not have that against Texas. I think they play a little bit better today. I think that D line for Texas is damn good, and I like Ole Miss's D line, especially interiorly. But yeah, I'm gonna go. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna go Alabama to win, and I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Alabama in the points. I'm gonna have them cover. I feel like it'd be kind of soft if I said Alabama to win and Ole Miss to cover. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Bama. I gotta ride them all year until they really let me down continuously. But this is crazy. This is such a crazy game because no matter what happens, unless like Bama squeaks out like a 3-point win, but even then you're still gonna be like, why wasn't this game more lopsided? Why is this? Why is this? This is a game you got to keep your eye on. 2:30 CBS window. If you're in Central Time there, I mean, is Bama defeated? Are they defeated or do they come out fiery? I have to believe with some of those players in there, with the culture that's been there for 15 plus years, or about 15 years, and Nick Saban, you got to believe they're going to be ready to go. You got to believe it's week 4 for crying out loud. Why are you giving up on them in week 4?
UCLA at Utah. Utah favored by 4.5. Cam Rising status still a question mark. Both these teams are really good. All right. I think both these teams are really good. I took actually both of these teams overs at 8.5. Well, Utah's was at 8, I think. UCLA's was at 8.5. I took both of these teams overs. So, in that aspect, I think I would like Utah to win because their schedule, I think, is a little bit tougher. They got this one than UCLA's. But like, enough about that, right? Let's talk about the game itself. If we knew for sure that Cam Rising was out, would this line still be at 4.5? I get it that they're at home or whatever, and they got like a 20-game home win streak. All right. But is Nate Johnson quarterbacking Utah a 4.5-point favorite against UCLA?
Yeah. No, they're not. I think Vegas is definitely factoring in a little bit. 1 foot in, 1 foot out with Cam Rising if he's playing or not. But no, Cam Rising not playing changes this game for sure. Now Utah can still obviously win. We saw them against Florida. We saw them come back against Baylor. But Cam Rising, they need him, and they need him to play well.
Yeah, Micah Pittman also still out. I believe that he's not going to be playing. Again, Utah keeps the cards close, right? So, uh, he said that all these players, right, have been injured, right, and there's a couple of them, mostly on the offensive side of the ball. Uh, most of these players are going to be reevaluated as we're recording this Wednesday night. So tomorrow, when you guys see this, they'll be reevaluating them, so we'll know more. But my guess, my gut feeling tells me that like I don't know that he's ready yet. What's one more week gonna do? I don't know, man. I don't know. What's one more week gonna do?
Well, and how does he look too? After all that rehab, after no
Yes.
game
Is he
action.
the same? I don't know.
Now, the thing is he's a very veteran quarterback. He's played a lot, so he doesn't need that many reps as a guy like I don't know Jalen Milroe. We talked to Dante Moore in this game. I mean, we know what Cam Rising is. He knows what he is. He's seen every defense in the Pac-12 multiple times. But yeah, it also post-injury, trusting yourself, whole other things we can't really predict, but we have to factor them in when we're making game predictions, obviously.
Yeah, and look, I get that Utah's defense looked amazing against Florida and amazing against Baylor, right? And believe me, there's one person that's going to tout Utah's defense. It's going to be this guy. I'm a huge believer in this
Cole
defense.
Bishop.
Cole Bishop is a dog, but like, let's talk about have we seen them? Have they seen an athletic quarterback as the one that is pictured here in this picture right here, Dante Moore? Have they faced one that's as athletic as he is? No, they
He's
haven't.
really good.
He's really
He's
good.
really good.
Now, is he going on the road in a huge road environment that's can be overwhelming for a freshman? Yes, but he has been nothing short of absolutely amazing this far. He's been amazing. Now it's tough to ask a true freshman to go in there and blow up Utah's, you know, home winning streak. That's a tough ask. But I believe. I believe. Give me UCLA plus 4.5. Give me UCLA to win and snap that home game winning streak for Utah.
Wow, taking the road dogs. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I'll give you my pick in a second. Real quick on UCLA's, they have like 4 running backs averaging over 8 yards a carry. That is
They're third in the
crazy.
country in rushing yards per game, by the way.
So we talk about Dante Moore, we talk about the explosiveness of J. Michael Sturdivant, but they have a very, very complimentary run game with Carson Steele and our TJ Harden, right? For an offensive line that lost 3 players last year, they looked really good. And I get it, they have been playing, the caliber of defense of Utah before. But that's pretty darn impressive. And yeah, if you stop the run, if Utah stops the run though, and make Dante Moore beat you, big time road environment, he can do it absolutely. Would it surprise me? No. Am I gonna predict it? No. I'm gonna take Utah on the points. I'm gonna fade you. I think we're gonna go opposite here. Um, Nate Johnson looked fine. He had some moments against Baylor. He's different kind of quarterback than is it Barnes that's been there before.
Bryson Barnes, yep.
Bryson Barnes. So yeah, give me Utah, and I love UCLA, and we're both pretty high on all these Pac-12 teams. But I think the more complete team is Utah. They can win in multiple different facets, offensively, defensively, special teams. And if Cam Rising plays, bonus. If not, Nate Johnson does some things, and he's also a very athletic guy, right? So he can really test that UCLA defense.
Let me
Yeah,
ask you this. If Utah is not able to run the ball, how big of a problem is that?
that's a big problem. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to say they're going to run the ball at least effectively enough to where you give Nate Johnson some help.
Right. Now I
Jaquin
know
Jackson's
Coastal
got to have a play. He's so good. He's so good. He has no touchdowns on the year. That has to change.
I
That
know
has to
Coastal
change.
Carolina and San Diego State aren't, Power 5 teams. But UCLA defensively is giving up 1.8 yards per carry. So they're 12th in the country in rushing yards allowed per game. I think this UCLA team just matches up well with Utah. Do I think Utah can go out and win the rest of the way and win the Pac-12? Absolutely. I think they match up a lot better with some of these other teams that are more physical. But yeah, give me UCLA. Give me the points. Give me them to win. Straight up. Here we go. Sorry, man. Betatron. Now you've beaten me up to this point against the spread big time. So it'll be interesting.
It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be a heck of a game.
Oh, I cannot wait for this game.
Fox has that game.
What time is that game?
2:30. It's 2:30 Central Time.
Oh, basically prime time.
Well, yeah, but not local time there though.
Yeah, local time.
Is that mountain? Are they mountain time, right? Utah, right?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. I don't know.
Nah, who knows?
Who knows? The Beavs squaring off with the Cougs. Two teams that you and I look. I have Oregon State's win total over 8.5. You have Washington State's over win total 6.5. This is a showdown of preseason. Each of us picked the team that we were high on in the Pac-12. Now I was high on a lot of teams that took a lot of their overs because Pac-12 is a wagon. And guess what? They are. So
yeah, we saw that coming, by the way, and most people should have. If you looked at the quarterback talent in this conference, especially this game here, Cameron Ward playing much better than he did last year. DJU playing much better than he did last year and the year before at Clemson. Now the thing is I love Washington State. I've been riding them. Jake Dickert. You love Jake Dickert. I love Jake Dickert. I also love Oregon State and Christopher Smith. I love that. Or Jonathan Smith. I'm sorry. Christopher Smith's the safety from Georgia. Wow. Oregon State. I mean, this is an awesome game. It's going to be 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. local time there, out in Pullman, Washington. It's another big time team, top 25 team coming into Pullman. Last time that was Wisconsin, and I took Wisconsin to lose. I called the upset. I said Washington State's going to play well. And if you want to talk about how that happens, if you're Washington State, you follow the same formula. You jump on them, you create explosive plays defensively and offensively with your edge rushers. You bottle up Oregon State's running game and Damian Martinez, and then Cam Ward has to beat Cam Ward and play like he has all season. But it's tough, though. I mean, these two teams are, the sole remaining teams, I believe, as of right now, of the Pac-12. It's going to be hard to pick one of them. I cannot stop now. Give me Washington State to win. Give me them to cover +3. Let's go. Let's go, Cougs.
Let's go, Cougs. Let's go, Cougs. This is a really tough game for me because going into the season, I did not think Washington State was going to be able to stop the run. I guess it's my fault because up until this point, they've done exactly that. And you could say, oh, well, they played Colorado State. Who else did they play? Oh, yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah, they played Wisconsin. Okay. Now, you're going to tell me the difference between Oregon State's offensive line and Wisconsin's offensive line? I would say it is. You ever heard of something called the Grand Canyon? Right? That gap right there is the difference.
Come on now. Part of that was due to Washington State. That Washington State made Wisconsin's O-line look bad. And let me tell you this, though, to add to your point, though, for those of you not casuals, I'm sorry. Thanks for listening to our podcast. But a lot of people in the national media, and you see running back rankings, everybody has Braylon Allen super high. Deservingly so. He's a really good running back. Damian Martinez is a better running back than Braylon Allen. I have no doubt about it. You're a huge fan.
Wait.
Of him.
Who's been saying this for the last, I don't know, year? Who's been saying that?
I agree. And I think he could have a really nice day. I just hope he doesn't. I just hope he doesn't.
I get it. And with that being said, I am taking the Cougs to cover and to win at home.
Wow.
I know. I know. Think about how a lot has changed in 3
SMH,
weeks.
man.
I know SMH. I'm literally letting my beeves down. I'm letting my beeves down. But here's my reasoning though. Like Washington State. So Cam Ward, I knew he was a good quarterback. I was really, really high on him last year, right? And I took their win total over plus 135 to win more than 5.5 games. My easiest non-sweat bet of the entire year. It was unbelievable. But it was not because of Cam Ward, it's because of that defense, right? So going into this year, I was like, well, they lost Dan Henley, they lost Maligoa, right? They still have like elite pass rush right there on the edge, but there's so many good offensive lines in the Pac-12. I'm like, are they going to be able to? But so far, their defense has more than impressed. I mean, if we're looking at numbers right here, I get it that Oregon State's only allowed 2.3 yards per carry, but Washington State's only allowed 2.6 yards per carry defensively. And again, that includes Wisconsin in that total as well. So I get that Oregon State, their offensive line is really, really good. I do think DJU, like, while he looked good like the first couple weeks, this is a spot where it's like, hey, we've seen you really goof up in some big time games.
Yep.
You've seen you really goof up on the road a couple of times. Is he going to be able to do it? Is he going to be able to is he going to be able to cash out, make those big time plays? Remember, we talked about Oregon State's wide receivers are not very big. While they've done pretty well this season, they're not very big. So if they're not able to run the ball effectively, right? How do we know that these receivers are going to be able to out physical these corners, right? These DBs for Washington State. If this was in Corvallis, I would take Oregon State to win and cover if this was the same line, right? But I can't do it. I think Washington State gets it done at home to cover and win. But I don't think that this means that Oregon State can't go over their win total. I don't think that's not what that means. This is I think you might have been right about Washington State in some instances. And they're getting a high level opponent at home, right? So, and I think Cam Ward could rise to the occasion.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think you have a really good team in Washington State at home and points. I think that's what I'm doing here. But I'm still super high on Oregon State. I know you are. You just said you are. And DJU, I would like to see him run the ball a little bit more. And I don't know how much the design QB run or QB keep is in Oregon State's offense because it's hard to take the ball out of, Damian Martinez's hands. But I mean, he had 3 attempts against San Diego State. He's had a touchdown in all 3 of his games he's played. I think that'd be really sneaky. And you kind of control Rod Stone and Brendan Jackson, the elite edge duo on the edge for Washington State, with the rushing the passer or clamp it down on Damian Martinez inside. But yeah, Oregon State, keys to the game. You got to run the ball. You got to play ahead of the chains.
You have to.
Do not.
And I think they can, but if
Look,
they don't, they're in trouble.
But even so, you're still gonna have to play really good defense. You're still gonna have to finish drives. You cannot let what Wisconsin did happen to you. Right? You have to watch that game on film, and you have to be like, "This is how we're not letting this happen." Because Washington State can pounce on you, and I would like to see DJU, continue to play well, make some big time throws, extend the pocket, use his legs like Cam Ward did in that Wisconsin game. Cam Ward was running all over the place and did a really, really good job finding players, extending plays, throwing out of sacks, which is another big thing, eliminating negative plays, keeping your offense with a chance instead of, 2nd and 20, or 2nd and 18, it's 2nd and 10, right? Or it's 3rd and 7 instead of, 3rd and 15 with a big time sack. So yeah, this is going to be an awesome game. Again, very, very good game. However this goes, I will not feel that much worse or that much better about either one of these teams. Both these teams super high on it. It's going to be a high level game at night in the Pac-12. What more could you ask for?
Is that 6 p.m. Central?
Champions.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. local time there out in Pullman. I mean,
this is awesome.
What a week, man. What a week. I'm happy. By the way, I want to say this one time. I'm really happy for Oregon State and Washington State. Those fans, those programs, those coaches, they deserve this year. And unfortunately, one of these teams is going to lose, right? Because you have to lose in a football game. That just happens. And everyone is going to sell all their stock on the team that loses. And I just beg you not to. These are two really good teams. Somebody has to lose. It doesn't change the teams that they are, right? It's just one game. Like a lot of these teams can still do a lot of things in the Pac-12. Don't get too discouraged if you lose this game. If you're either one of these teams.
Ohio State traveling to Notre Dame. Little touchdown Jesus action. Can we get touchdown? Can we get a lot of touchdowns, Jesus? Can Notre Dame get a lot of touchdowns? Sam Hartman has been playing fantastic this season, right? But if you're going by a power ratings, ranking standard, right? Ohio State's way up there on some of these guys, especially after that performance against Western Kentucky. I think teams are a lot higher. People are a lot higher on Ohio State. Especially because offensively it seemed like it was clicking a little bit more for Kyle McCord.
But, a lot more. A lot more.
So where do you go with this? Where do you go with this? I have an idea, but I want to hear what you think.
Notre Dame is getting 3 points at home. You have Sam Hartman playing well. You got a good running game, good O-line. I was just really impressed what they did against Western Kentucky, like everybody else was. I'm talking about Ohio State and Kyle McCord. I was a guy that was a Devin Brown guy, right? I was waiting for him to take over that job. But obviously, it doesn't matter who's driving the car when you're driving a Lamborghini. You're still gonna be able to put up tons of numbers. And Ohio State's weapons and running backs love to see Trayvon Henderson back to himself for the most part. Marvin Harrison Jr., you've got Cade Stover, Emeka Ibuka, Julian Fleming, the freshman Carnell Tate, the two running backs out of the backfield. You seem to have a pretty good O-line where your tackles were your weakness coming in. The guy from SDSU, as a Josh Simmons, I believe, seems to be playing pretty well on one side there. It's just hard. In college football these days, an elite offense can really take over a game, and it doesn't matter how good your defense is or how good your defense has looked. It just happens. We saw Georgia, right? That happened to them last year. We saw Alabama did it to Georgia 2 years ago. You saw Texas do it to Alabama this year. I mean, oh man. I'm gonna go. I have to go Ohio State here and give me the points. I think this could get this has a chance to get ugly. That's what I'm going. I don't think Notre Dame can blow out Ohio State.
Really?
But I think Ohio State can blow out Notre Dame. I really do. And I love Ohio State's defense. Real quick, I like to talk. Ohio State's defense is awesome. It's awesome. Finally kicking in. You've got the defense coordinator from Oklahoma State. I'm forgetting his name right now. Do you have
Jim
his
Knowles?
name?
Jim Knowles.
Jim Knowles. Thank you. We love him. We've loved him for a couple years now. It didn't really pan out last year, but it's starting to pan out this year. And I think a couple of big time stops early on, maybe a turnover from Sam Hartman, Notre Dame. I love Estime. I love that running game. I like their wide receivers. Don't love them. Right? How explosive can they really be? Right? Notre Dame. And can they keep up with Ohio State? That's why I'm going to go Ohio State. I think, yeah. What about you?
TreVeyon Henderson's averaging 6.4 yards per carry.
You said, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sneakily, he's back. Sneakily, that man Mayan Williams is now currently the third string running back. Can't believe that. Can you believe that, Ohio State fans, after last year?
Mayan Williams, he's a good player too.
Yeah,
he's a good player.
He's a good player. Absolutely, he's a good player. But guess what? Chip Trayanum, however you say that. Looks you watched the spring game, actually. You got a chance to see him play because TreVeyon Henderson was out and Mayan Williams. I think they were both out for the spring game. And you got to see this guy. He had the one big explosive run in the game. And this is a former linebacker, actually, as well. So I think he's a pretty good athlete. They don't really let him catch it out of the backfield a whole lot. That's kind of what Mayan Williams is for. That's why you have Marvin Harrison, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's instead of throwing it to a running back out of the backfield, we're gonna throw to the best wide receiver in the country and maybe the best wide receiver prospect we've seen since Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. Now, is this potentially the best offense we've seen from Notre Dame in the last couple of years? Yes. But their defensive line, I think, in my opinion, still has question marks. I think there's still a lot of question marks there. I think their offensive line has played very well up until this point. Their receivers are super young. Can they rise to the occasion? Can Notre Dame's receivers rise to the occasion? I'm not sure.
No, the
so
thing
I will
is,
be
what I'll credit to them real quick about their wide receivers is they do have a couple. They have a lot of them, right? And now maybe they're not elite, but you've got four you feel pretty good at and a really good tight end. So chances are one of them goes off, two of them goes up, whatever it is, right? You don't have to have all four of them play at an elite level. You only need one or two. Sorry.
I get it. But I will still be taking Ohio State to win and Ohio State to cover on the road. Going into this, I didn't think that was going to be the case. But then I look at the positional matchup. I think the only thing that Notre Dame has the advantage on is the offensive line and quarterback. That's it. And sometimes that's all you need. I think Audric Estime he's a really, really good running back, but I think Ohio State has a stable of running backs that are overall better. No, that's not to say that, Notre Dame doesn't have a stable of running backs, right? I mean, they are pretty deep there as well. But my point is that if you're looking at a team that positionally is better in almost every position except quarterback and offensive line, those are the standout ones, obviously. I'm sure we could have this debate about other positional groups, but give me Ohio State to win. Give me Ohio State to cover.
But Notre Dame deserves a ton of credit. I know neither of us are picking them today. It has exceeded my expectations for sure. The fact that you're only 3-point dogs against a team like Ohio State, as bad as they look the first couple weeks, as highly as they are power rated, that's pretty impressive. That means that a lot of Vegas models are pretty high on Notre Dame, which is a testament to wow. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Who's the head coach there?
Marcus Freeman.
Wow. I'm so sorry, Marcus Freeman. You deserve better than that. Their offensive coordinator has done a damn good job there. Nobody's missing Tommy Reese, I can tell you that. Which is crazy.
Which is wild. I can't believe we're talking about that at this point, but
yeah. And obviously Sam Hartman has been, everything he was supposed to be and then some. He just screams Notre Dame. Doesn't he just scream Notre Dame? I mean, look at that picture right there. If you listen on Spotify, I'm sorry, but on YouTube, he looks so good in the gold helmets and the navy blues. Touchdown Jesus there. I still think it's going to be a good game. It probably will be a good game, but I do think, I think Ohio State's got the dogs and the horses to run away with this game. Notre Dame's still, I think, a year or two away, maybe 2 years away from really, really competing and being at the same level as a team like Ohio State,
Yeah. If Notre Dame, though, can find ways to protect Sam Hartman and they can run the ball effectively, Notre Dame can win this game. I think.
Yeah.
What also I think is crazy, I know you said you think that it's not possible for Notre Dame to blow out Ohio State. I think it's possible for Notre Dame to win by 2 touchdowns in this game. I think that could be in the cards. I think if Kyle McCord, right, we haven't seen him make a ton of mistakes thus far. Well, okay, what I mean mistakes like devastating, backbreaking,
pick
interceptions,
sixes, red zone interceptions,
fumbles. Yep, all the business. But Sam Hartman's a veteran. He's been there, done that. So I love Sam Hartman. That's a German name though, so that's sorry for you Irish fans. He isn't a full blood Irish, but he might as well be because he plays football at a pretty dang high level for you guys. So that's awesome.
Real quick. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we can go back.
Yeah, real quick. You have to be excited about Ohio State's defensive line, though. I think, if you're an Ohio State fan, it sounds like Jack Sawyer's playing pretty well, living up to his 5-star billing, and obviously JTT.
Cocaine Bear.
You like him a lot. Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't be spreading rumors. But sounds like that guy. Look, if he can show up on Saturdays and play, by all means.
Yeah. Regardless, though, gonna be a good game. That's a 6:30 game, local time there in South Bend. South Bend Central Time.
But yeah,
Fuck.
South Bend Central Time.
Okay, it's right on the edge there. Regardless, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern Time if you're watching in Columbus, Ohio.
Iowa is traveling to Penn State in a whiteout game alert. Whiteout game alert. Week 4, they're whipping out the whiteout game. Wow.
Can I say something real quick? As a former victim, an absolute victim, as Minnesota went in last year and got bodied, Fox and Big Noon Kickoff has completely ruined any Big Ten West team's chance of coming into Penn State and getting win. That's what I'm gonna say. Because instead of
all their because the Michigan
Ohio State
State
and
games.
Michigan should be this game, and it has been historically, right? You all remember the Saquon Barkley game. You all remember, where McSorley got tackled by Chase Young. You all remember that the block punt for whatever. Like those are iconic games and iconic whiteout games. But now the big noon kickoff happens. Ohio State and Michigan are always at that noon window. Hopefully the new TV rights deal they change that up. But yeah, I just wanted to say that and give our Big Ten West, big time underdogs just our say because we're fed up. We're fed up with getting bodied at the whiteout game.
Yeah. Look, Iowa already has some body bags of their own that they're dealing with. I mean, Caleb Johnson, Jay-Z and Patterson, Luke Lachey. So I don't know. I keep hearing Lackey, Lockey, Lachey. I don't know. I don't know how to
Regardless,
pronounce
he's
it.
a stud. He's a stud.
Regardless, he's a stud.
And he's out for the year. I mean, that poor fella, man. We're gonna miss him. Iowa's gonna miss him for sure. Cade McNamara's still back. We don't know how healthy he still is. Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's so many question marks surrounding Iowa's roster. So yeah, quickly give me Penn State and points here in the whiteout game. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, what about you?
I agree. But I agree. And I'm high on Penn State. I took the over, almost put a double unit on it. You're high on Penn State. It's the whiteout game. Enough said. They're gonna win this game. It's just about how much they're gonna win it by. The thing is, if you're Iowa, okay, we talk about how can they win this game. You have to watch last week's game in Illinois. Illinois was in that game for a while. Luke Altmaier and the offense, right? It wasn't all on him, but the offense let him down, let that defense down by throwing them too many picks, too many interceptions. And Drew Alar and that running game didn't get going until really the second half. Actually, it really never got going, but eventually they pulled away and the game was out of hand. Iowa can do that. And they're a team that historically has done a really good job of taking care of the football and forcing you to make mistakes. Now that defense is really good, obviously, and the secondary is really good. They've got some stars back there. But without Luke Latchley, without Caleb Johnson, right, and maybe a not 100% Cade McNamara, I don't see it happening. I really don't. I would like to see Penn State dominate this game. I would like to. There's no reason you're not. I was injured. It's the whiteout game. You're pissed off after what happened last week against Illinois. This has to be a domination game for Penn State. If you're elite like you say you are, like I say you are, a lot of people say you are, you have to dominate this game for 60 minutes. What say you?
Yeah, I do think, and look, I sound really confident taking Penn State minus 14.5. And the reason that I actually am not going to be laying money on this, right, is because both these teams defensively are really, really good. And they're going to probably like to run the football. Okay. So if Iowa does some of what Illinois did last week on the defensive line, now granted, they don't have the same exact caliber defensive lineman that Illinois has. But the overall talent on the defense on Iowa is better than Illinois. So I think that they can keep a low. I mean, the over under right now is at 40.5, right? So I mean, I was very close to wanting to take the under for this game, but what's stopping me was that I do think Iowa historically takes care of the football, but with all these injuries, start taking shots. I don't know. I think things could get ugly, but if it does stay like a low scoring game, then there's no way Penn State can cover 14 and a half. I don't think, unless it's like they could cover like could be 21-3, right, or 28-7, right? So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but I do think Penn State. I mean, lock them in for a win, right? I mean, just put it in their win column, basically, right? But that's not to say I don't like Iowa. In fact, I took their over on a win total, right? If you're both these teams, I took their over on the win total. So don't come at me thinking I'm a big time Iowa hater, right? I was a big time believer. In fact, I got that line at 6.5 or 7.5 when he was out there, and then on our show, I took it at 8, just for fun, because I think they're gonna hit it for sure. But I was by far right now has looked like the best team in the Big Ten West. I think Penn State, I think, has actually looked for all 3 games. If you're taking the sum of the 3 games, I think Penn State has looked like the best team in the Big Ten East. So this is a really interesting game. Yeah, I can't help but think whiteouts, injuries for Iowa. Look, if there were a bunch of children in the hospital watching this game, right, and Iowa was all healthy, there is no way that Penn State is covering 14 and a half.
The line's closer to 7, right?
Yeah, I would think it would be at like 9.5, 10.
We talked about this a little over the summer, I believe, but does Vegas really put a thought into whiteout? Like, do they have to factor that in? Like, because you probably get a certain home field advantage power, whatever that is, right? But a whiteout, you have to do something. I don't know if it's a point, if it's a half a point, if it's a point and a half. Like, I don't know what exactly it is, but it's got to be something.
Here's the thing,
right?
though. If the market is going to react to it, right, then Vegas is on it, right? So either way, right, if they didn't account for it, the market will respond in a way that would make
account
it
for
account for it, right? So then,
Yeah.
like this line that we're seeing at Wednesday, Thursday, right, it would account for it either way. If they didn't, but they do, because they don't want they know. Come on, they're all those big buildings in Vegas. I mean, someone's got to pay for them. It's not gonna be me. I'll tell you that. It's not gonna
Not
be
on
me.
Dawson Diner.
Not in Dawson's Diner this week, baby. We're coming back. We're bouncing back. Texas at Baylor, going to Waco. 15-point line. Now you can actually get this at some place at 14.5. You can get it at 15.5. So honestly, it's not really 15 is not a key number. So I mean, if you're gonna bet Baylor, you might as well get it at 15. If you're gonna bet Texas, you might as well get it at 14.5. But for the sake of the show, we're gonna be picking this game at plus 15. As I mentioned earlier in the show, it may be surprising to some people that Texas has the worst offensive success rate in all of college football. And here's the thing. I know there's going to be comments in here, flooding in here, that are going to say, check your facts, bro. Check your facts. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. It is. I have a hard time believing it as well. But that is what the case is. They've relied a lot on explosive plays. And their defense. How about their defense? Number 1 in the country in defensive success rate. Yes. That is exactly that's what won Texas the game against Alabama. That is what kept them in the game against Wyoming. That is what held off JT Daniels and Rice, right? Yeah, this is a good team. I mean, with that being said, right, I'm just going to say, hey, just be careful if you're thinking about, oh, there's no way Texas doesn't blow these guys out by 30, right? Just be careful with that. Just be careful with that. Actually putting money on that. Sawyer Robertson's back for Baylor. Is it Sawyer Robertson this week, or is he injured?
Yeah, it is. Arenas came out and said it's not going to be Shapen this week. It's going to be well, he didn't mention Sawyer Robertson by name, I believe. Not that they were expecting a QB transition there. They got their first win last week. He played just a little bit better, but yeah, they need a Shapen back. If Shapen was playing this game, I would really consider taking Baylor to cover here. It's a prime letdown spot. Last week for Texas, they were bad. They were pretty sluggish. They cannot sleepwalk through this game. Like
At
either,
home.
yeah, and guess what? They're still Texas. Your season's not over. Just because you beat Bama in week 2 doesn't mean that you're already in the playoffs, right? You're 0-0 in conference play, right? That Bama win is looking less and less impressive every week, right? And it could get worse. You have to make a statement in the Big 12 here that you're not messing around, right? I look for Quinn Ewers to get back on track. Good quarterbacks. Quarterbacks have played well against Baylor. I'll say that. TJ Finley had his way with them. Nate Johnson, right? Once he got in there, he made some plays.
On one
Texas has too much.
possession.
Texas has too much talent, right? Give me Texas to win, but that's a lot to cover. I'm gonna go Baylor plus 15, more so because they do not want to drop to 1-3. That would be so bad for Dave Aranda after a sluggish year last year, and for a better like me that took the over on the year.
I was gonna say.
I need them to at least keep it close, keep continuing to build momentum, or try to build momentum. But yeah, 15 points is a lot to cover on the road if you're Texas, and I think Baylor still has some talent. I hope they show up, man. That's why I'm taking Baylor plus 15. I think they will.
Okay. I mean, with all that being said, I'm taking Texas and the points. So I think that's fair. Look, if you thought Sawyer Robertson looked bad against Utah, just wait till the average weight of 310 pounds, that is the Texas defensive line, gets in there and starts really messing some stuff up. Jalen Catalon's played well. I mean, this is a defense that has played at a very, very high level this year. Very high level. And I do not expect that to stop. I get it that they're on the road. Okay. Look, Quinn Ewers is a good quarterback. Got into it on Twitter with a guy arguing whether Quinn Ewers is better than Connor Wigman and who is better. They're both good quarterbacks. Okay. I think Quinn Ewers is he has the talent around him to do so, to take that next step, right? We keep talking about taking that next step. And he did against Bama. I think Texas puts up a lot of points. I think Quinn Ewers looks better this week than he did last week against Wyoming, which, by the way, if not for that Xavier Worthy, kind of screen pass or whatever you want to call that short pass, whatever, to Xavier Worthy, he would have been under 100 yards for the day against Wyoming. So, I mean, just think about that, right? So, I would like more consistency out of Quinn Ewers, right? I mean, I took the over, win total 9.5. Let's see it. Here's the time to prove it, Quinn Ewers. Give me something in Big 12 play to start the season, or to start your Big 12 conference play. Texas and the points. Lamb. Not an official Dawson's Diner play, but in terms of picking for the show, give me that.
Yeah, I'll say this to add to your point about Quinn Ewers. He's played 8.5 quarters. I'm sorry, 9 quarters of really good football. And the rest of it has honestly been pretty subpar. He had 4 quarters, obviously, against Alabama last 2 weeks ago. He had the Red River rivalry game a year ago at Oklahoma, or against Oklahoma, and tore apart that defense, which everybody did, by the way. And then for a quarter against Bama last year. Other than that, I mean, he's been very up and down. The reason why I think you and I, we know that, right? He's Quinn Ewers. He's very talented, obviously. The reason why I don't think they're going to lose this game is because that defense is so good. And that's what makes this Texas team different, right? That defense keeps them in games. Whereas a year ago, last year, Quinn Ewers plays bad. It struggles. And some teams, I mean, yes, their defense was pretty fine last year, but more was riding on Quinn Ewers to make plays and to keep them in games. Whereas this year, their defense can do it. And it can take Quinn Ewers a couple quarters to get going, but they can still, end up being in the team by 17 points or whatever it is. Not today, though. Hopefully it's just by 14 points. Because I do have the over on both these teams. Like you said, I'm riding with you on Texas. And Baylor's is still my over, 7 wins. A long way to go, especially if we drop to 1-3. Looking forward for Baylor. Yeah, you need this one here. At least be competitive at home. At least be competitive at home. It's all you can ask for. It's all Dave Aranda can ask for you. I don't know. Yeah.
Texas is giving up 2.9 yards per carry. Can Sawyer Robertson do it through the air? That's what you got to ask yourself.
You just got to hope that that number is wrong and that Baylor can do what Bama couldn't
Yeah,
do. It's run the ball.
exactly.
I think their defense will make some plays, though. Baylor's defense. I think if you can turn the ball over, you can turn Quinn Ewers over, short fields for Sawyer Robertson, get him confidence early. It's college football, right? I mean, yes, Texas has a really talented defense, and defense typically travels better than offense on the road, but it's not every week. It's not every time. It's not guaranteed. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just having a
Look,
gut feeling with this on Baylor.
and you and I both have firsthand seen a Division 3 level quarterback beat one of the best defenses in the country a couple years ago. His name was Zach Calzada. He currently plays at Incarnate Word. He is not a Division
Come
1 football
on.
player, and
Come
he was
on.
for one game for 4 quarters. He slung the rock around. It was absurd. I've never seen anything like it. Does Sawyer Robertson have a Zach Calzada game in him?
My
I don't
God.
know. I don't
Zach
know.
Calzada's sitting there and he just got a stray. He just got an absolute stray from us here at the Redshirt Sophomore. But no, but Sawyer Robertson, he's a guy that the staff was high on in the summer. And it's not that they're still high on him. Obviously, he's a young quarterback. He's a backup quarterback. Okay. Like with the transfer portal rules nowadays, even though they got him in the transfer portal, like backup quarterbacks are not always elite, especially at a program like Baylor. You can't expect him, to be playing fantastic football. Should he have lost to Texas State? No. Should he have blown that game against Utah? No. If Baylor's 3-0 right now, I mean, how much different is this game? And I think that Sawyer Robertson has a chance, and this team has a chance to play up to that potential. Are they going to win? Probably not. No, but I think it could be really close. Again, I think it could be really close.
On the slate for Dawson's Diner this week, I'll go over these pretty quickly, and I'll give you why I'm taking Minnesota -12. I took this earlier in the week. That's moved down to -11. Go ahead and take that. Why are they only 11-point favorites against Northwestern? Oh, they're on the
Who's
road.
moving that line? Who
Yeah,
the fuck is moving that line?
Who's betting on Northwestern? Yeah, okay, you saw them beat UTEP, who I'm sorry, UTEP. We're talking about strays. You're catching one right now. You've given up on your coach, right? Gavin Hardison deserves better. Deion Hawkins deserves better. All right, I don't know what's going on over there. That's a bad football team over there. That is a bad football team that they beat up on. I don't care that Minnesota's going on the road. Do we think that more than 500 people are going to be there at Northwestern? You and I have both been there. You and I have both been to that stadium.
You can
I
go for
mean,
$5. You can go for $5 and probably be at midfield.
maybe maybe $5. It might be $3. I don't know. But yeah, give me Minnesota. Look, even if both of these teams pound the rock, the over/under I think for this game is at like 38. Who cares? 20-3, Minnesota. 17-3, Minnesota. Who cares? 20-7, 23-14. Actually, let's not do that. 23-10. How about that? So I'll take Minnesota with the points right there. You're gonna notice a trend here. Taking a lot of road teams, including UNC -7. I got this one earlier. Look, I'm sorry, folk. I didn't put this on Twitter when I took this. It's at 7.5 now, but look, you can go ahead and take that as well. They're playing Pitt on the road. We have seen enough of Pitt. We've seen enough of Pitt. How is this only touchdown? I have zero idea. Let's just go ahead. Let's not get stupid. Let's not get overcomplicated. Oh, they're a road team. Bounce back. Vegas says they got our number. No, let's just keep it simple, stupid. All right, and take UNC in the points. Oklahoma State, ISU under 36.5. That's an automatic. Do we even need to talk about that? Oklahoma State still doesn't know who they want to play quarterback. They're playing 3 of them. Iowa State has not scored more than, 20 points against a team that's not Division I football, right? So, like, have they scored even more than 10 points against a team that's against a Division I team this year? No. No, they have not. So, yeah, give me the under there, 36.5. What's crazy is that line has not moved a lick since I took it on Monday. A lick. I thought it was just going to skyrocket down under 35, but yeah, it's going to stay at 36.5. UCLA +4.5. We talked about this game earlier. Took them to cover and win. In Dante Moore, we trust. I know that Utah has a gigantic home win streak, but look, even if my pick is wrong about UCLA winning, they can still cover. They can still cover this game, right? I mean, Utah played close game with Baylor there. I get that was on the road. This one's at home. UCLA has a great run defense that they've shown so far, even if it's not against Power 5 teams. I think they can be really good. Latu Latu, absolute dog. Give me UCLA. If you're going to give me 4.5, feed it to me. So 9-6 on the year, a little over 2 units gained. So if you guys want to ride, go ahead and ride. Feel free. I'm not going to be responsible, though, for any losses. But it's here for you guys.
Always bet responsibly.
Always bet responsibly.
Two rules you have to follow here on the Redshirt Sophomore in terms of betting. Bet responsibly and shop lines. Okay.
Shop lines. And that's why I'm here to tell you. You can get Minnesota at -11. You can get UNC at, well, you can only get at 7.5, but I don't care. Just take it. Just take it. There's some 8s out there somewhere. Just get it at 7.5. All right. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for week 4 preview. After this week, we're going to have a recap, right? And then our week 5 preview, right? We're going to keep pumping those out. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys want to hear a team that we haven't covered in the last couple of weeks, shoot us an email, theredshirtsophomore@gmail.com. Tag us on Twitter, right? Send us a tweet. Hey, bozos from the Redshirt Sophomore podcast, why have we not seen USC? Which is true.
Haven't played anybody.
Haven't played any. But I'm just saying, like, if you want to see these teams covered, right? They're never going to get, they might not get covered unless you guys tell us, right? Cincinnati was covered today because we had a lovely email from our friend Jack. Thank you, Jack. Loyal subscriber. So awesome. CD, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, honestly, first week of real, like, big time conference games. If you notice, we covered 9 games today. 8 of those are conference games, right? We're back into conference mode. It's only September, yes. But yeah, it's week 4. We're gonna get into conference plays. You saw some cool, interesting out of conference games, right? I'm looking at I'm sorry. Wow, that's even a conference game. UCF, Kansas State. Awesome.
It's a conference game this year.
Forest. That's a conference game. Yeah. Missouri, Memphis, though, out of conference game. How does Missouri respond back to that? Memphis, I think, is pretty darn good this year.
Is it a letdown spot?
Is it a letdown spot?
Look, Memphis did not look good against good old Navy. They did not look good against good old Navy, but who knows? I mean, Seth Hardigan. What's his name? Blake, the running back. Gosh.
Oh, Memphis?
Yeah, I'm gonna get rocked in the comments for not knowing that, but who cares? Yeah, no, I agree with you. That should be a good game.
Oh, Watson.
I'm pumped. Conference starting. Gosh, we're in the thick of it. This is a great week, guys. Hope you guys enjoy yourselves. Make sure to subscribe, like. I mean, of course, if you like us. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.